Yeah, I think it should work now. But the machine is really slow. It would make the video break on YouTube. If it becomes an issue, what you can do is you can probably give me access to the YouTube account, like the login. So I set it up on my end. My machine is relatively faster.
Hello, Godwin.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Are you waiting for me, Anna?
How?
I'm asking if you are waiting for me.
Jake, Makasa I didn't know that I was on mute. Okay, sorry. So I'm reading the profile of Ken. I have even finished reading it, but let me start again. Okay, so our lead consultant, Kennedy Appenning, is a professional accountant with over a decade of industry experience working with various accounting software such as QuickBooks Online. He has helped notable not-for-profit organizations such as Amnesty International, Sport, Human Rights Advocacy Center, and not a non-profit international school, American International School, migrate their books of accounts from a manual accounting system to QuickBooks Online. Kennedy holds an MBA accounting from the University of Ghana, an LLM from VPP University in the United Kingdom, an LLB from Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration, GIMPA, and a bachelor's degree from the University of Education. Additionally, Kennedy is a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants. He also holds a Project Lead Pro certification. Kennedy currently works as the head of operations at EduSport, a UK charity, and oversees grant management and reporting. Quickly do that of Madam. Please pardon me, but tomorrow I have them all on one sheet. I've got Madam's own today, so. Okay. Okay. So, profile of Mrs. Yvonne Enam here. Sorry, MSc, MA, Chartered Human Resource Professional. Now, Yvonne Ahli is a highly accomplished strategic human resource management professional with over 10 years of hands-on experience driving business growth and transformation. She is currently the People and Culture Manager for West Africa for SMEC International Limited. She is an executive coach and team player with natural leadership skills. She has excellent verbal and written communication skills with the ability to execute recruitment plans as well as design learning and development manuals and programs. She has worked with and consulted for several multinational organizations. Her area of expertise include learning and development, talent acquisition, leadership development, psychometric testing, coaching, and HR auditing. Yvonne holds a master's degree in business decision management from Coventry University in the UK. She is also a chartered member of the Chartered Institute of Human Resource Practitioners Ghana, CHRMP. She is an ISO certified professional with experience in conducting HR audits. She has an executive certificate in professional coaching. She is a licensed assistant psychologist and also holds a bachelor's degree in psychology from the University of Ghana. As you can see, these are both very well-seasoned professionals who would assist us as we go through our program. So we'll go straight to allowing them to briefly introduce the topic for today. They both have 5 minutes, and then would allow for we'll have some questions for them, after which we would allow for questions. However, for any follow-up questions to the questions that I asked our panelists, please raise up your hand. I will call 2 persons at a time per question. And then after which, if you have any other questions, you can type them in the comment section. They'll be collated and asked at the tail end of the discussion. Thank you. So I'm moving to the question. Okay. So I think I'll start with the lady, Mrs. Yvonne Ahli. Can you, in the next 5 minutes, tell us what you have for us and what we are to expect in this discussion, and of course, what the world holds for us when it comes to our career, please.
Okay, thank you, Emmanuel. It's a pleasure to be here once again. So I'll move straight to the topic for discussion. And the topic for discussion draws my mind back to 2017 when I was working for an IT consulting firm. Day in and day out, I saw how the software engineers were frustrated having to commute to work daily. So I'd had to prepare a proposal to management to allow them to work remotely from home and still achieve their targets. And it wasn't an easy decision for management, but it was implemented. And I would say that remote work and hybrid work is a prominent feature both for the employer and the employee. And statistics in Forbes Advisor report recently shows that 98% of workers express their desire to work remotely at least part of the time. And then currently we have 16% of companies operating fully remote. And so this highlights the feasibility of such models, and it paves the way for others to as well follow in this remote work or hybrid situation. Sorry, should I continue, or I can just pause somewhere, then we continue since it's a dry run?
Yeah, I think it's fine. Since we've had a feel of it. I don't know what the rest of us think. We don't have to do that full 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fine. You just need to touch on it. I mean, it is dry run. So it doesn't have to be the full
Okay.
thing.
Okay. So it's my pleasure to welcome the gentleman himself, our consultant or lead consultant, Mr. Kennedy Appiah. Mr. Kennedy, I'll put the same question to you. What does the future hold for our careers?
Thank you so much, Ima. So I think it's very good for us to look at the future, but I will even take a minute to look at the past. That the history of work has been 8 to 5, commuting to work, and so on and so forth. Then computers were introduced, and that today allows us to do a lot of things via the internet. So I see a future where there will still be people commuting to work. Obviously, what I call contact hour work, like policemen, health workers, things like that, I don't see that changing anytime soon. But majority of the work, I think the internet has come to stay, and everybody is trying to cut the hours of commuting to make it more productive, or to use it for other things that are more productive. So I see the future of work on one stretch migrating to, the data space, or people working remotely.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. That was insightful. I think we'll quickly kick into our questions, and would once again remind ourselves that if you have a question after they have answered the question and you still think you want some clarification, you can raise your hand. Or whilst they are answering the questions, if you think you have some clarification, you can raise your hand, and then would allow you to do that. But like I said, it will be 2 questions per question, if you get what I mean. So let's get ready for this. So my first question would go to the gentleman, Mr. Kennedy Appiah, and it's this: general trends and predictions. Consider the global context. Sorry, general trends and predictions. This question would cover general trends and predictions. So what major trends do you foresee shaping the future of work over the next decade? Mr. Appiah.
Thank you again, Nima. So in terms of the future statistics, I feel that the base of work will still be a significant number of population commuting from one place to the other. But there are 2 things at play here. One, just like I mentioned, the advent of the internet is making it possible for some work to be done remotely, which means that if you are an employee or if you are seeking to build a career, you don't always have to look at jobs that are, on one hand, requiring you to, or skills that require you to, let's say, go to work from your home or move from one place to the other. There will be tons of work, if I may predict, there will be tons of work that you can do, or there will be tons of skills that will be required for work that will be done remotely. So the nature of work will not change in terms of how long we work or how many hours we work, but it will be a significant change from the manual work from one place to the other to we all trying to build skills that require us to collaborate and be productive over the internet.
Okay. There will be cases where I would ask the second guest the same question, but for the sake of time, I think I'll go to the second one. I remember Madam telling us that she'll be on the road by 4, so I wanted to ask, Madam, that still holds, right?
Yes, I would wait. I would hang on for the next 30 minutes, then I set off.
Wow, this is very much appreciated. Thank you. So the question is, how do you think advancements in technology will impact job availability and the nature of work? As much as possible, yes, as we look at the global setting, let's also narrow it down to what pertains here in Africa. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for your question. I would say that advancements in technology would both create job opportunities as well as distract jobs. I think everyone is looking for simple and faster ways to do things to create convenience for both the employer and the employee. And so AI, automation, most routine jobs would now be automated. And I think this calls for more investment in digital literacy and STEM education. And we see that on the rise currently in Ghana, where most educational institutions are veering towards STEM education, robotics, and AI. And I think that will be the focus. That is what technology and advancements will bring. And also, I also see a shift from more of this 5 to 7 to, going to work. It will be more towards freelance jobs, gig jobs, and then works that will be more flexible. Yeah, those that do not necessarily have to make you move from one location to the other. Basically, that is what technology will do.
If I may ask a follow-up question, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Do you think employers are gearing up for this hearing in Ghana? Because you did mention that, there's a lot of education on robotics and AI and all that. But do you think employers are gearing up for this? And if not, does it mean that we should be looking at going beyond our shores to countries that are, adapting these new changes?
Okay, thank you. So I would say to some extent, employers are also awakening to this shift, and most workplaces are now adapting their policies to suit this flexible work arrangement. Currently, I can speak for Absa Bank and EcoBank. I know that they have hybrid system now where most of their employees work from home and some have to commute to the office. If you should mention this 10 years back, they would have, we would all have denied the fact that we would be here. But I think gradually companies are warming up to that fact. And this also calls for the need to train our staff so that they don't become obsolete. Because as technology advances, at the same time, we need to keep the staff at pace. And so a lot of training from employers would be required. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I think this is on skills and education. Question 3. What new skills do you believe will be essential for workers in the future? And this goes to Lawyer Appiah.
All right, thank you, Emma. So I will mention 3 key things, and those are not difficult skills that we build over a long period. The first one is all of us have to be multi-skilled. So being multi-skilled is a skill in itself because the fluidity of work will require that you are able to work swiftly, you are able to adapt to changes easily, you are able to collaborate with other people. And so you cannot just, it will not be enough going into the future for you to just build one set of skill and say that is enough for you to go through a lifetime of employment. No, you have to sort of like build multi-skills that will enable you to collaborate with other people. That is how I see the future of work being. The other skill sets, obviously communication is key, because imagine if we are face-to-face, how our gestures, even our movements, yes, the way we try to communicate with our bodies in so many ways tells a lot. So if we are discussing a dispensation where we are talking about people not being in face-to-face, but they are still collaborating, it will require that you are having top-notch, or a skill that will be required will be a top-notch communication, as in your ability to productively interact with other people to get a job done when you are not seeing the person, face to face. And the third skill that I will mention is resilience. So having to work remotely, yes, we cut the number of hours that we have to commute, but that also requires that you work for, a longer period, or let's say 7 days a week, if you will. And so it will not be the usual, I have gone to work, I have come, I am tired. No, you have to be able to build resilience and know okay, I have to join a Zoom session with my team at this hour. No need for lateness, no complaint or excuses that my data or my internet isn't working, because that will mean you are slacking, or you are not, the team is not hearing from you. So those are the 3 skills that I feel one must build going into the future: being multi-skilled, being top-notch communicator, and also ensuring that you have built resilience under your belt to collaborate for long periods.
Wow. Resilience. Someone calls it adaptability quotient.
Yeah.
We are aware of the IQ, which is your intelligence quotient. But there's another one called adaptability quotient, which talks about how resilient you are within a space. And I think that's exactly what Lawyer Apping is espousing to add. Our next question will go to Mrs. Ahli. And the question is, how should educational institutions adapt their curricula to prepare students for these changes?
Okay, thank you, Emmanuel. I think I mentioned that educational institutions must also evolve their curricula to include interdisciplinary learning. And so we see a lot of STEM education now, and even global bodies have also seen this gap in Africa. So we have MasterCard Foundations and the World Bank coming to Africa to initiate some of these STEM education programs, these robotic programs. And so for Ghana to foster entrepreneurship and digital skills will be very critical in our curriculum.
Wow. Thank you very much. The next set of questions is on remote work and flexibility. And this goes to Madame again. Question 5, remote work has become more prevalent post-pandemic. Do you think this trend will continue? And how should companies adapt?
Okay, thank you, Emmanuel. I would say remote work was already in existence post-COVID. I mean, COVID only accelerated it, and organizations would have to accept it and develop the right infrastructure to make this work. And so if your staff have to work from home, you make sure that the setup at home is also convenient. And so you create the rooms, the policies, and of course, this will also mean that most organizations would be cautious about their data. And so the need for cybersecurity protections and all sorts of investments, infrastructural investments should be considered, because I think that remote work is coming to stay. Like I showed statistics from the Forbes report, so that 98% of workers are willing to work from home at least part-time. And so organizations must adapt to these situations, yeah, in order to remain relevant.
Wow. Wow. I think earlier you had mentioned Ecobank and Absa.
Yeah.
I am also aware that Standard Chartered Bank Standard Chartered Bank is running the same system. So yes, this is definitely catching up. And I believe that our audience are taking note, because that's where we're going. And the skills that were mentioned earlier will be required for anybody to be able to thrive in that kind of environment. So thank you. And we'll move to the next question. Oyaping, what are the potential challenges and benefits of a hybrid work model?
All right, thank you, Ima. So I will speak to the benefit first, then I'll look at the challenges. The benefit of a hybrid model, first of all, is that if you are an employee or you are seeking to enter the world of work, you should know that it is not only in your country that you could be employed. In fact, you can be employed all over the world without moving an inch from your home. That's one of the key benefits I see. So in terms of employment and shuffling, I see like an employee or a new graduate looking for work, that you can cast your net wide and be employed all over the world if you have the right skill. So that's, for me, is unlike previously where the internet didn't exist, or the internet existed in limited spaces, and so you are only limited to the kind of employment, you are only limited to apply to jobs that are in your own country. In the future or in the now, I don't see that to be the case. There are a lot of people that, I don't have the statistics, but I know there are a lot of people in specific fields like IT, for instance, accounting, for instance, finance, for instance, that are sitting in their home country, Ghana, and they are employed beyond the shores of Ghana. So it's a core benefit in that you can cast your net wide and you can be employed there. Another benefit I see is that the overall well-being of the employee is at stake here. And I think it's better because rather than wake up, like me, I work remotely, 100% remotely. I have not even been interested in any work that requires me to go to the office at all. And I have done that for the past 2 years. And the reason for that is that I realize as we grow that you need to take care of yourself, your well-being. So will it rather make sense for you to wake up at 5 or 4 a.m. sometimes to prepare to get to the office on time at 8, work, and then when you finish, you have to commute for about 2-3 hours before you get home? Or will you rather rest up till, let's say, 7:30, wake up, you take your breakfast, and at 8, you turn on your computer to start working, at 5, you shut down, and then you have the rest of the time with your family? So another benefit, in addition to we having a large pool of employers to choose from, is that your overall being, if you choose to build the skills to get you employed remotely or hybrid, it saves you time for you to rest, take care of yourself and things like that, which will make you not burn out faster. The challenges, however, are that the same way that we are saying you can sit in your country and be employed globally, what is Africa's population? 1.3 million versus India's. So the whole Africa, 53 or 54 countries have 1.3 billion population. China has similar population, one country. India has more than that population. I think it's projected, or currently they are the #1 country with the most population. So the same work that you are looking for, if you go to, let's say, a freelancer website like Upwork or People Per Hour and similar, guru or similar, you realize that the same work you are sitting in Ghana and you are looking for, other people all over the world are looking for a similar. So that increases competition. Yes.
Wow. It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah. Yeah.
And indeed, would have to take advantage of it wisely. Okay. So our last set of questions. Yeah, madam, in fact, I wanted
Yes, I would like to add to what Kennedy shared earlier. I think that we have to see it as a benefit to the employer as well, and not just the employee. For the employer, you cut down on your operational costs, paying light bills as they're paying rent and all that would now be cut down. And so the employer should welcome this as well. Sitting in HR, you realize that top management, there's a lot of work that has to be done to really convince them to come to the terms that work has to be flexible. Really, people are looking for flexible work. Like Kennedy said, for the past 2 years, he would rather prefer a work he stay at home to do. And so employers should also be open-minded and rather invest in building the right infrastructure to make this work. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So for our employers, businesses present on this platform, our partners, we believe you are taking note, and hopefully this will even help you cut down costs and waste and so many other things that come with the challenges of traditional brick and mortar kind of human resource employment. So I think we'll go quickly to our last set of questions. This is on HR and recruitment. Let's see, impact of additional. So yes, I believe this goes to Madam. How can HR professionals prepare for the evolving expectations of future employees? How can HR professionals prepare for the evolving expectations of future employees?
Okay, thank you so much. I would say that HR professionals must prioritize agility and continuous learning. In the World Economic Forum report, it said 6 in 10 workers will require training before 2027, but only half of employees are seen to have access to adequate training opportunities today. And at the same time, the report also shows that 44% of an individual's worker skills would need to be updated. And so this calls for more learning and development opportunities to be created by HR to keep people abreast that even as advancement in technology is happening, people are also being trained to acquire the right skills to be able to still fit in the world of work. And so HR has a lot to do in that regard.
Wow. Well, I think I'll ask you the same question.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Okay, so the question is, how can HR professionals prepare for the evolving expectations of future employees?
I'm not a hardcore HR professional like Yvonne is, but at least for where I work or the places I work, like Bricks, just for everybody's information, Bricks has consultants working remotely, even though we have an office space, but it's not mandatory for every consultant to go to the office, and we deliver. We don't slack on the work. My other work, working for EduSports as an operations head, we have built an ecosystem where all our 32 employees from all over the world are working remotely. We don't have a physical office, trust me. And we are able to deliver. We are one of the most impactful organizations in the development space. So I feel that sitting in management meetings, I feel like HR staff or HR managers can, channel their advice to employers to the point where that fear that especially Ghanaian employers have that hesitation to move remotely is there on the part of Ghanaian employers. But I feel like it makes you more productive to look at that option. Like Yvonne said earlier in her responses, EduSport, for instance, doesn't pay any operational cost, like no rent, no electricity bill, no water bill, no maintenance. So imagine an employer, you don't have to, incur all of those costs. You can rechannel all of that savings into something more productive. That does not mean that it's all rosy on that side. It will mean that you have to invest in the right, computer architecture or even network architecture. And permit me to touch on that a bit. I know the government of Ghana has signed an agreement to migrate our internet architecture to 5G. And so it makes everything very fast compared to 4G. And so if you are also an employee, it means that if you are targeting or positioning yourself for this current or future work we are talking about, it means that you have to ask yourself where you are, the type of job you are looking for, or that you have applied to. Are you able to deliver 100%, no network issues, and so on and so forth? In terms of even your power stability, you have to invest in an alternative power source, because employers will not take the excuse of, oh, I didn't have power, that's why I didn't work. Sometimes one downside has been that because the network in Ghana has been intermittent, I have to resort to different networks. I'm on MTN, I'm on Telecel, I'm on AT, sorry. So that once this is down, you have to switch to the other one. And maybe if I have enough money, I might want to look at Starlink. So we talk about employers being ready and HR professionals advising employers to gear toward that side, but it also means that there's some form of readiness on your part as a job seeker, as an employee that wants to jump onto the bandwagon of remote work, to be ready, because there are certain things that you need to do, consistently for an employer to believe that you are not dropping. I think most Ghanaian employers think that as far as they are not seeing you face to face, it means you are not working. So if you get a remote job, one responsibility is to ensure that the things I mentioned, your internet, your light, your computer, everything is on point for you to deliver with specific deadlines. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. What innovative recruitment strategies can companies adapt to attract top talent in a competitive market? Mrs. Saheli.
Okay, thank you. So basically, companies have to adopt strategies that will level AI recruitment tools and also offering flexible benefits packages, not necessarily offering maybe very high compensation, but I see that gradually people would rather value flexible options than even a lot more money. And so a work that would allow me to maybe work from home 4 days in a week and just come in when I have to do meetings. And also in terms of recruiting, job fairs could be held virtually, where we have a virtual community where people can send in their applications and they don't have to move. And I mean, tapping also into the diaspora networks and collaborating with maybe other educational institutions where we can create virtual internship opportunities and mentoring programs would also help recruiters also get the right kind of talent as well.
Amazing. Amazing. So guys, yes, we have more questions, but I believe this is where we'll draw the questions on the curtains on the question because of our time factor. The only thing we've not seen in doing this is the follow-up questions from, the opportunity for our partners to also add some thoughts to what have been said. Based on what we have seen so far, do we think it's still necessary, or we just allow them at the tail end to tell us about, what they expect of us going forward, or it's okay to let them join in answering some of these questions we're asking our panelists.
How many hours will we do tomorrow?
2 hours.
Okay, we've been on this call for a bit over an hour. I know we cut some parts, but I guess what I'm driving at is, if assuming by this point we had answered all the questions, we could now let the remaining 30 minutes be on, maybe split it, 15 minutes for employers that join the call to also contribute, or maybe you might pause in between you asking Yvonne and myself questions so that they can also share like a wider opinion on some of the questions. And then the remaining 15 minutes will go to, audience to also ask questions. But we have to also encourage the audience that they don't have to wait for that time slot. They can just ask their question using the message box on Zoom. And that can be read by you so maybe somebody has a specific question for maybe Yvonne's response or my response or what somebody said, they can just put it in the message box. That will make all of us save some time.
Okay. So hopefully tomorrow we'll have a clearer picture on how this goes. You did mention from the beginning that I should raise my voice. Did it get any better? Or you prefer that?
Yeah, it got better. And I like the relaxed way you are doing it. Some webinars are too aggressive. So yeah, once the voice was clear down the line, and then the relaxed way, have enjoyed it. So that it makes it more like a conversation rather than a radio discussion in Ghana.
The acrimonious one there.
Charlie.
Okay. So, what I have on paper, it means that when the questions end, then, like I said, would allow our partners to take turns and tell us some of the expectations when it comes to, recruitment, CVs, and obviously, Mrs. Ashley will be helping us with some questions for them. So maybe then I'll switch questions to them directly, and then after that, we'll allow the questions to flow. Let's see. Is Lizzie here? Okay, Lizzie's not here. Jake.
And I think, Yvonne, I like that, you see, each of your answers is backed by either research or personal experience, citing companies. I think those are like the pointers that the audience will use as takeaways.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Flawless, Charlie. Flawless. Jakes, can you hear me, please? Okay, Godwin. I remember Godwin also saying from 4 he gets busy. We'll be busy. All right. So I wanted to confirm who will be doing the questions, who will be compiling the questions for me. But because in between, people will just be saying thank you and all those things, so that I'll get just questions listed together and sent to me while, but that's fine. We'll work on that tonight. So I think on this, if anybody has anything to say as a closing remarks, we'll take that, and then we will come to an end of this test run.
Nothing much from me, just to thank you for, hosting us today, and I pray that all of us have stable internet, lights, everything to deliver tomorrow. See you all tomorrow.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Kenneth.
same
Thank you
here.
so much. Mrs. Any closing thoughts?
Oh, I think
Anything
I
we can
align
do?
with Kennedy.
Okay, okay.
I had an
Kennedy,
important
the
meeting
alignment,
this morning for 1 hour, and ECD decided to turn off the lights 30 minutes to the 1 hour. Can you imagine?
right? Obi ankɔhwehwɛ generator nsi hɔ o. Na ɔkyena
I mean, it is well, Charlie. It is well.
ɔkyena deɛ no baga wire koraa.
Yeah, it is well. But I think our topic and the team, I'm liking it. So hopefully nothing, I mean, everything goes right. Let me not be negative. Everything will go well tomorrow. Then we'll be able to deliver.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. I was just looking at those of us online right now.
Yeah.
Jay is British trained, you are British trained, and
You are already in the UK.
so
You
it
are
looks
doing this
like
from the UK at the moment.
wow. Anyway, Jake, we're signing off. I guess you're busy with the kids. But once again, thank you everybody, and hopefully see you tomorrow.
So
Sure.
thank you so much and have a
Thank
good
you too.
weekend. All right, see you. Bye.
As well.
See you.
See you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Jakes.
Each of your answers is backed by either research or personal experience, citing companies, and that are the pointers that the audience will just take away.
Yes, I wanted to comment. Yes, I wanted to comment, Yvonne, on what Ken just said. Yeah. Please, can you hear me? Ima, can you hear me? Metonka, what you mean?
Yeah, it's a recorded version.
Hey, sir.
But try.
I mean, possibly.
Not me. Virtual background. Oh.
I'm and you'll be a call.
Virtual background. That's not so. But just say.
Yeah, I'll call.
Okay.
They're coming to me.
But try.
Now, what's in Cadena?
Virtual background.
Yeah. I say we know we design logos no and na me can better say how we do it. Why?
Me patch you.
Kudos.
Okay.
But Chaya, can't Yvonne on show the picture throughout to want to see her beauty.
Say I believe.
What's it?
Like I said. It's a but I believe so.
Okay, you there. Martin, that's bye. I'll get to the logos and the partners, no more numbers. Me person me feeding crown, me free. Why?
Me patch you.
You dem my hair. My bad, you tired.
Don't worry.
All right. Okay. Bye.
And yeah, bye.